Hey, how you guys doing out there? This video is a submission to Art and Talk as a hoping to be Poet of the Month for July, which is always fantastic. I wish I could have worked with them sooner. It's been a while since my last submission. Life has just been not kind, is the correct way of saying that in polite company. Um, So yeah, I'm gonna read one of my poems today. It's called Metaphor, and I hope you guys enjoy. We loved as stars, burning with fiery passion, lighting up the darkness. We were ballroom dancers, spitting into each other's embrace, moving to our own rhythm. You were my flower, I was your rock. That was the problem. We loved like metaphors, short, sweet, calling us something that could never be. Um, so yeah, those who have read my work before or saw my previous post on Art and Talk um, follows the same vein of most of my writing. Um, Sad, sappy love stuff. Um, my friends always rib me about that, so I felt it. I don't know. I accept it. It is what it is. Um, I just find that topic easy to write about. Unfortunately, plenty of personal experience to go along with it. Um, so yeah, I always, growing up in elementary school, they always talked about metaphors and similes, and I always thought metaphors were kind of dumb, just naivety at best. I didn't quite grasp them. I thought similes were easier and they were easier for the reader. But as I grew up and developed as a writer, I liked metaphors more because it was more less direct in terms of this is as good as blank. It's like no, this is blank. And it creates a more of a I don't know, a personal feel, if that makes any sense. Like if I say an evening it's as warm as a cup of coffee, it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But then if I say it is a cup of coffee, it provides a more visceral response, more of an emotional response from the reader, in my mind. Anyway, but yeah, I wanted to write that poem um, because I actually watched Dead Poet Society. And for those who haven't seen it, highly recommend. Robin Williams is fantastic. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. One of my favorite actors, and that's why I watch it, honestly. And he mentions in the movie that laziness will never do when trying to do the most important thing, which is woo a woman. That you have to use. It doesn't work in language. It doesn't work in poetry. You have to be more than just what you think what you want to say. And so I fell into that trap a couple times in relationships where it seems that kind of overpromise with some of the flowery language you use, and you have to back it up with actions too. And so if it's not the right person, but you speak to them like they're the end all be all, then it falls through, unfortunately. And so I wanted to try to capture that in a poem and it kind of express kind of how important language is. You have to say what you mean what you say, and follow it up with action. I've got plenty of other poems that delve into the action part of that, where you have to follow it up, back it up, and just be you, be genuine. And that's not to say, don't use flowery language in relationships. Go for it, but just back it up. So yeah, as I said before, this poem was inspired by a movie, Dead Poet Society. But whenever I'm writing, it's typically I'll just hear something. I'll hear a line in a song. I'll hear my friends talking. I'll hear strangers in a coffee shop just say something, and I'm like, oh, hold on, that's kind of interesting. And any kind of conversation, any kind of word, lyric, a line in a song. I have a list. I have a whole playlist called Poetry Fuel, that has over 300 songs on it that I just add to all the time. And I'll have songs where I go back and listen and I'm like, why the hell did I put this song on here? This song is horrible. And then I'll get to that one line where I'm like, oh, that was it. That whole line made this 4 minutes of my life I wasted worth it. And so, if you're looking to write anything, poetry, short fiction, whatever, I recommend always having a journal with you at all times, or just a notepad on your phone. I mean, these things are freaking everywhere now. And just write down anything that catches your fancy, anything that tickles the imagination. You write down. I had a professor one time tell me that every single line in a poem or a story is a brick, and you need to determine what's a good brick and what's a bad brick. And if you put enough good bricks together, you'll get what you're looking for. And so, I have a journal with me at all times because I prefer more tactile things. I prefer pages. I hate reading on Kindle. It's just, I hate it. I can't explain why. I need to feel the book. I need to smell the book. It's weird, I get it, but for those of you who are the same, you'll understand. Like, it just means more to hold it in my hand as an actual book and turn the page. A literal page turner as opposed to just pressing a button on a screen. I hate that. But yeah, so that's my process, but I'm also slightly crazy. The one thing I can recommend is if you're looking to write, again, anything, poetry, short fiction, long fiction, if you want to write a book, go for it. Good luck to you. You need to write every day. I read somewhere, so that means it's true on the internet, that Stephen King, one of the best authors of all time, writes 10 pages a day. And sometimes he throws those 10 pages away at the end of the day because they were bad. But he writes every day. And that's pretty important in my mind, because you need to be able to write on command and less when the feeling hits you. But then you also need to be able to edit your stuff, go back and look at what you wrote and said, no, this is actually not good. But again, you write 10 pages, maybe you find one of those lines, one of those bricks that you could tuck away for later, and maybe you're searching for dialogue, you're searching for one line that isn't just hit powerful, and you go back in your book of bricks and you find one and you're like, all right, this is it. This completes my story. So, yeah, my recommendation is write as much as you can every day until you are exhausted of ideas, until you literally you look at the page and you have nothing you can write about. Then you need to go back, pull up all your old works, and edit it. Go through every line, tear it apart. You need to be able to look at your own work and say, this may be my baby, but I need to kind of kill my baby right now. We gotta tear it apart, look at it harshly, and be able to judge what is good and what is bad. And you need to go over your own stuff with a fine-tooth comb until you are so sick of reading your own work you are about to vomit. And then you need to go and find artists, authors, singers, whatever, that are in the same vein, either theme-wise or structure-wise if you're writing, and consume everything they've ever written or wrote or drawn, and go. And you need to go outside. And I know it's tossed around as an insult nowadays. Go outside, touch grass, live your life. Go outside and go for a while. I think one of my best poems came when I was in Alaska, actually. I went for a walk and I saw this I wish I was a good enough writer to express. I have a whole poem about it, but I still hate it because it doesn't capture what the image was. But there was this rock formation that looked like two fingers, and the sun was setting directly in between the two fingers, and it was just like this stuff. They were like, it was like something like God or something was pulling the sun down on the horizon, and I was like, wow. Like, had I not chosen to go for this walk, had I not been here at this exact time, I wouldn't have seen that. And I sat on that little shoreline, and I just scribbled down everything that I could possibly think of that moment. And it was just so beautiful. I feel like I hate that poem because it doesn't capture what it was perfectly, and I'm gonna edit it to death, like I is part of the process until I like it. But you need to experience stuff before you can write about stuff. So you need to get out there and do what you're writing about. Live what you're writing about. You need to go out and do all of these things. Live your life, and then until you are bursting with so many ideas, you have to run home and just get them on the page. Don't worry about format. Don't worry about, oh, this is going to be a haiku. No, 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 no. Just get it on the page. In the editing process, you can decide what goes where. Just get your ideas down, get your bricks laid, and then in the editing process, put it all together. And then keep repeating that cycle. Write, edit, live. Write, edit, live. Write, edit, live. Until you're done. Until you have so much of your own work that you are actually like, wow, this is awesome. I finally got it in my head to get every poem I've ever written in one solid document, and I realized I have over 400 poems written. And I was like, I never thought I'd even get here. Honestly, growing up, I hated poetry. So, I mean, never say never. Live your life and write about it. And keep doing that. And eventually you'll find an audience. Eventually you'll find your way onto Art and Talk. I can't thank her enough for having me on. I think it's my second time. I'm hoping to do it more. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys take the advice, and I hope you guys get out there and just create. Just create. It doesn't even matter what it is. It doesn't even matter if it's good. Just create. There's something inside of everybody that needs to come out and be told. So yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Alex Dunlop Poetry. The link will be in the description, as well as my Patreon. That's just if you feel like donating. Obviously, I'm not charging for my poetry. It's on Facebook, my Facebook page, every day for free. It's just if you feel like, man, I really like this guy's poetry. I really hope he keeps doing it. Let me do it $1 a month. There's also other stuff where it's like, you can see behind the scenes. You can see all my rough drafts. You can see how bad the poem was at first before I edited it to perfection. But yeah, keep tuning into Art and Talk. She's a fantastic show, and she gives people like me a chance. So yeah, good luck everybody, and keep it up.